again, it's, I want to ask you GPAs, I know they're really high. Was it a hard task to keep that high? What?
I'm sure, especially with band and sports and stuff.
Be nice to, looking forward to summer where you're not having to study.
Yeah.
Rest your brain, get ready for school. Well, fantastic. Thank you guys for being here, and we'll look forward to celebrating you again at graduation next week. Thank you. We'll get a picture up here with some, you get a coin of excellence, and I'll give those to the president. Now, I told Jay, these are challenge coins, which means that anyone at the high school, like any of the football players, any of the state champion wrestlers, if you present that coin and they don't have theirs, then they owe you something. We can kind of determine what that would be. So you can go up to Jersey Rob, I mentioned that. You send to Jersey, got your coin, and you challenge.
I like this.
Yep, there you go. Keep going.
We'll
Come
see
on
if they have
in.
their way.
Of course, they have their coins all the time.
Yeah.
Awesome job.
Did you guys get a picture? You need us to pose?
Can I get a picture of you two?
Oh.
Thank you.
She's gotten a little taller, hasn't she?
Yes.
And then our last one, there they are. We've got a whole team over here. Girls, come up here and let's celebrate what you guys did. These are members of our girls' slow pitch softball team. Y'all played fast pitch too, right?
Yes.
And they won academic state champions. It's our 5th one in Bixby athletics this year. Phenomenal. And you see right up there, GPA of 3.91. I think all 4 of you had a 4.0.
Yes. Yes, sir.
That might be the highest.
Could be. So how do you find time to do well in all your classes and play softball?
It's difficult, especially during slow pitch, because we play so many games in such a short amount of time, so it is difficult, but we all manage, so.
A lot of studying on the buses and helping each other out, for sure.
Yeah. Now, are you, any of you playing college softball, or you just,
I'm committed to NSU.
okay?
I'm committed to Pittsburgh State, so,
Okay.
but we're just juniors, Ariel's a senior.
Okay. She's the spokesperson. Just kidding. So, Ariel, where are you going to go next year?
Oh, I wasn't going to UCO, but I'm going to stay back in UTCC, like major in chemistry, and go off to UCO
It's
and
a great plan. A lot of kids do that. I think it's a very smart plan for many, many students. So that's quite an honor, and congratulations, girls, on winning academic state champions. That's something, and you'll also get a coin of excellence for that. So if we can have you come up and. We would have had more here, but they have tryouts tonight, right? Coach has gone to tryouts.
Thank you. We just came.
We just came.
Did you make it?
We did.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, 2.13.
But before we get there,
All right.
this was not on the agenda, because I wasn't sure that if this person was gonna be here or not, but she is. And maybe for her last board meeting, I don't know. But we thought it would be appropriate to award Miss Sue Ward our Spartan Spirit Award. We could give this to her every year, but certainly upon her retirement, we think, unless the Senate comes back with a huge pay raise.
Don't hold your breath.
I'm not. No. But Sue, we've said it many, many times, you have impacted so many students at Bixby High School in the 42 years you've been here. I enjoyed the retirement ceremony at the high school last week and seeing some pictures of you from a couple minutes ago. And, but you have, like I said, impacted so many kids, and I am sure that it happens every day. You have former students come up and tell you just how important you were for them in getting them on the road in higher level math and being successful in college. So thank you for thousands of kids that you've made a huge difference in their lives. So if you wouldn't mind coming forward, we're going to give you not only a plaque, but also a coin of excellence, so you can challenge people too.
There you go.
Did you adjust it in class?
So I never had her as a teacher, but she did yell at me once or twice for not being in class on time. In her hallway, so we didn't want to be caught late in her hallway.
Congratulations. They'll come to board meetings?
Till negotiations are done.
We love this new award.
All right, now the BPS grade expectations. And Jamie, I'll let you lead on this. I know we've got principals here as well. And we also have, you want to start with the video?
Yeah, so, this is Dr. DeZalo. She is the CEO of Great Expectations for the State. She is actually in Texas this evening, but she wanted to send her congratulations, so she made us this video to watch.
Good evening. I'm Linda DeZalo, President and CEO of Great Expectations. To Bixby board members, Superintendent Miller, district leaders, principals, teachers, and parents, I really wish I could be there to celebrate the 5th year that Bixby has been named a GE Model School District. This is a tremendous accomplishment. How does one even maintain excellence for an extended period of time? Say, 5 years in a row. This, in spite of a pandemic, in spite of extended days the school was closed, in spite of the tremendous pressure and exhaustion of school personnel during this challenging time. How does a large school district do that? Well, Aristotle had a notion about that. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. Bixby students developed a habit of following the 8 expectations for living. They follow the 36 life principles. Bixby teachers have the habit of following the 17 evidence-based GE instructional practices. Thus, Bixby Public Schools maintain their excellence in spite of all those tremendous challenges. Bixby teachers and students have developed positive habits, and those habits prevail. It's always a joy to visit a Bixby school, and again, I wish I could be there with you tonight to celebrate. GE is truly honored to partner with such an outstanding school district. And now, Bixby has begun the process of letting other school districts visit and experience what it looks like when all educators work to achieve the same goal and fully implement GE. Teachers and principals come to see what it looks like when all educators implement evidence-based instructional practices. Superintendent Miller and the leadership team recently hosted a WASO Leaders and Educators. On another day, they hosted a superintendent and secondary leaders from a Cushing, Texas school district. Bixby Public Schools is truly a beacon of excellence. Congratulations to all involved for the 5th year as a GE Model School District.
So, of course, we're super proud. The that this really is about the impact that GE has on our students. And I say this, I actually said in a meeting today, but we all strive to have students leave us better than when they walk in our doors, and we think that GE is part of that. And to represent that view, we've asked Tyler Berlin to come, and Tyler is Miss Bixby as well. She's going to talk to the board just a minute about what GE means to her and what it looks like from her perspective.
So my name's Tyler. I'm a senior this year, and GE, when it became a part of my life, something I remember most, I was younger, it was the answering questions in class. It was, my math teacher asked me a question, it was, Tyler, what's 2 + 2? I'd be like, Mrs. Ward. Mrs. Ward in class answers 4. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that Great Expectations is so much more than that. They are character traits and values modeled by Bixby, and that Bixby implements in their students' lives. And Bixby is a service community. We're passionate about giving back, and the Great Expectations really inspire the students at Bixby to want to do more for their community.
Well, fantastic. I can see why you're Miss Bixby.
Yeah.
Good job. So I think we'd like to bring our principals up because they are the ones who work with their teachers to make this happen. And we get a picture.
Sue Early is here as well with
Oh, that's right. I forgot. So Sue, I didn't see Sue walk in. Sue, come on up. How are
Listen,
you?
that Memorial traffic is a doozy.
Traffic on Memorial?
Yeah. Well, it is my privilege this year to be able to be of service to Bixby District as well. I've been working with Mr. Vernon at the Bixby Middle School, and again, they attend middle school. But I'm here tonight to represent Great Expectations because Rick Pierce, who you all know and love, is also in Texas. So I wanted to present to you, Mr. Miller, and the district, your 5-year certificate for attaining Model School District, the only Great Expectations Model School District. So,
Fantastic.
yes. It's up here too.
All right.
You guys,
Principals, come on
I'm
up.
gonna take a picture, and then I can send that to our website. Jamie,
Hi, everyone.
We get ours tomorrow.
What did you want me to do? You want me to do the sorority?
Don't move yet.
Wait, before you move, I want to take one.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Yes.
Principals, you are welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting if you'd like, unless you have other things.
I'll remember that.
Mr. Parker?
Yes, sir.
Would you mind if we adjusted the agenda just a little bit?
Absolutely.
George just came in and we don't want to have you sit around for a little while. So we will go to President, if we can suspend the rules to move to items 7.1 and 7.2.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I make a motion that we, suspend the rules and jump to items 7.1 and 7.2.
Second.
Call for a vote, Matt?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Go ahead and read something.
All right, 7.1. I make a motion for discussion and possible board action to approve Nabholz change order 31, geoform stair details, the Bixby High School academic building at a cost of $148,302.61. Discussion?
Well, I wanted to mention, as I put in my notes to the board, there are obviously a lot of change orders associated with a project of this size. Some of those are things that we identify once we're into it, and we recognize, oh, that's not gonna work, and they'll come to us and say, we need to adjust this or rebid this or something of that nature. These were both things that were not a surprise. They were both factored in. It was really just a matter of timing, getting the architectural drawings to match up with the bids. And so when we went out for that last set of bids, these two pieces weren't fully defined. And so as Jordan, I'm sure will explain, they build an allowance knowing that these changes are gonna come and estimating what those costs would be. So this just reflects that now that we've identified exactly what those drawings are, and they can go get actual prices, and that's where these change orders come from. So Jordan, if you'll just give a brief explanation.
Just before we get started, I made a motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, there you go.
So, both of these are kind of due to the way we phased it out. So, bid out a scope of work before the other drawings were completed. So PCO 31 is the geofoam stair details. So we bid out, and that's a concrete assembly. So we bid out the concrete in phase 3, and then phase 4 was the architectural set that had all of the architectural decorative concrete. So carried allowance, we knew it was coming, so we carried an allowance. It was allowance number 13 for scope buyout. So that was one of the items that we budgeted. That we carried $300,000 for scope buyout. This is one of those items. So this fits within the money we already have in the GMP set aside for this. And that includes mainly cost for the concrete contractor Lithgo. There was a small deduction from the framing contractor because there was a little area where we got rid of framing and replaced it with these stairs.
Now this has to do with, we didn't quite have the architectural design for the
Right.
stairs, right? We were
Yeah.
just waiting on those.
So when we bid out the structural drawings, we did not have the architectural drawings to reference. So there's the main lobby on the first floor has a big like stage area that's built out of this, and then the second and third floors have them that go up to from the second floor up to the third floor, and there's one in the lecture hall on the second floor. So there's 4 of these total.
So what does geoform mean?
So it's I don't know if it says it's geofoam. So it's actually a foam, basically like a white insulation that infills it, so you don't have to have 8 feet of concrete. So it's geofoam up, and then it's got a pan stair metal system that you pour the concrete into. And I think most of them have like a wood flooring on top of it that will dress it out.
Any questions on the first one?
I'm not sure that I have the right price typed on.
Oh, what is that price?
153, 602, 62,
Is that right?
So that's the ad for Lithgo, but there's a $5,300 credit from Midwest Drywall.
Okay, so the 148, right?
Yes, the 148 is correct.
148, 302, 61? Okay.
Any other questions? All right, call for a vote. Matt?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. 7.2, I make a motion with discussion and possible board action to approve Nabholz change order number 32, storm time for Bixby High School academic building at a cost of $68,765.32.
Second.
So what this one is similar thing, bid out the storm, sewer, and earthwork in phase 2, and then in phase 4, finalized the architectural, which determine the roof drain location, so the civil then had to add like 6 storm structures and about 500 foot of piping to extend the storm sewer that we already installed to pick up the building roof drains.
But this one still stayed in our budget too, right?
Yes, yeah, so we carried a pretty large allowance for earthwork and storm sewer because that's a very vulnerable stage of the project since you can't really see what's underground. So that, we still have money, we still have about $25,000 in that allowance even after this, and we're basically done with storm sewer. So we'll definitely stay within that allotted amount.
Any other questions? All right, call for a vote. Matt?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Thank you very much, Jordan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Come along great.
We're trying.
More and more concrete next week?
That's the plan. One generation.
Thank you, Jordan.
All right, we're gonna go back to 2.2, District Fine Arts Report. Henry Parker.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Parker. You can drive your own spot.
Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you for letting me speak, and thanks for the invitation to come talk about our fine arts department at Bixby Public Schools. I just wanted to kind of go through some of the highlights. First of all, a lot of the offerings are listed right here, actually all the offerings that we have. At the middle school and high school, we have instrumental music, marching band, concert band, jazz band. We have vocal music at the intermediate and advanced choirs at the middle school and high school. We have the visual arts, middle school and high school are 1 through 4, and sculpture and drawing offered next year. Middle school and high school color guard and winter guard, which has dance components, and middle school and high school dramatic arts, drama, advanced drama is a new class next year, musical and 1 act, high school speech and debate, and high school class piano, which is something that we've added over the last few years, high school AP music theory with a music major component or track, high school applied music with a music major component to that, and then elementary and intermediate music, grades 1 through 6, and elementary and intermediate art, grades 1 through 6. So that's what we offer in fine arts across the district. I didn't have to read that all to you, but I did, so. Anyway, if we can, how do I do that? I think I broke it.
Parker.
What I do.
Oh,
There we go, okay. So I thought I'd just kind of hit some highlights in our programs. So the first programs I'll talk about is near and dear to me. It's the band program. So we've heard a lot about our trip to Ireland, of course, this year, and we were featured on the Oklahoma Living magazine cover, which I didn't know about until somebody brought me that, which was awesome. A lot of people, Mr. Miller showed a clip of our show this year, Madness, and we're planning next year's show. And I can't tell you what it is until I tell the kids, so we'll know what that is soon. They're going to know that next Friday.
It'll be spectacular, though.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Just cool?
Very cool. And we just have some clips up here from the Christmas parade, playing at ball games, holding the trophy from the Limerick Parade where we won the 50th annual Limerick Parade in Ireland, and just all the great stuff that we get to do. Some things that don't get highlighted as much, aren't, we're not on TV with our all district and all state recognitions, but we had 70 students make all district ensembles this year. And then we had 18 students make the all state band, which you guys actually recognize at board meeting. We appreciate that. Of our graduating seniors, 10 of them are going to go into college as music majors. And half of them are planning to play in college and continue the music experiences in college. Let's see, we're adding a section of 7th grade at the middle school because of the growing numbers, and then we'll be adding a section of 8th grade at the middle school the following year, so we're starting to expand the band program as we go. Next year we're looking at serving approximately 900 to 950 students, 6 through 12 in the instrumental music department. And that's all accomplished and really, I guess, facilitated with the team teaching approach that we have. So our directors from 6 through 12 work as a team. So even myself, I work with the high school band, working with the fine arts department, but I also go and I teach a section of 6th grade band every day. And every director in the district teaches 6th grade band all the way up to high school. So it brings a nice, it's a comfort for the kids. They get to know you, you get to know them and their parents and families, and it really builds a band family is what we call it. So I think that contributes to a lot of our success and our growth. It takes us to the vocal music department, our programs, are thriving and starting to grow, and we're actually going to start to incorporate some of that team teaching approach with our vocal music department. Where our high school director is going to go down to the middle school for an hour, and the middle school director is going to come up to the high school for an hour. We're going to start to see some of the same things, I hope, accomplished there, you know, with connection there, kind of bridging the gap between middle school and high school. Of course, we have the high school choir. They do wonderful programs. I was at the Empress and Kings Masterworks concert. I know I saw the administration there. It was wonderful. Held at the United Methodist Church over here. They just had their Go the Distance Pops concert, and then of course the All Fine Arts Department musical Oklahoma. And if you guys see that, it was amazing. I had a blast. It was really great because you had band kids, choir kids, drama kids all working together. I got to conduct the pit. Mr. Pearson conducted all the, ran all the music, and Mr. Freeman, did all the acting, and Tony from the middle school also did the choreography. So we had a lot of great collaboration there. Let's see, I don't want to miss out on some of their things. They had 11 high school students make all district choir, 2 ninth graders made the all state choir, 5 students are going to national honor choir, and 20 participated in state solos and ensembles. So the choir program is growing, and we're starting to see a lot of great things from them. Next year, like I said, they're going to be doing some team teaching, and numbers are increasing for the middle school choirs. Let's see, the drama department. Yeah, I'm really impressed with the stuff Mr. Freeman's been doing with the high school drama. He's our new high school drama teacher. And the first thing they did was 1984, the one-act play, which won district and placed 4th at state. Then they did the play Puffs, which involved over 50 students in that, which is a lot for a play, because they do a double cast. And so you have an understudy cast. Maybe they did do a matinee. Well, they didn't do that. They actually have 2 casts that do equal performances for that. So it's great. It gets more kids involved. And then of course Oklahoma was amazing. And the speech and debate side of it as well is very, very successful, and it seems like every weekend they're at another tournament, bringing home more awards for those students. And I won't even list all that, because I asked all the teachers to send me their accomplishments, and they all sent me like 5 pages of stuff. So okay, well, the meeting's not that long. So anyway, but they're doing wonderful stuff in the speech, debate, and drama. Let's see. I think I skipped something, didn't I? Yeah, the Me at the Bixby Art Department. If you can see up there, we have a student sanding the piano that is going to be, that they painted. And you can see in the picture below, that's actually in the process of finishing the painting of this piano. And they do that for Mayfest. And it's sponsored by Save Music and art programs around around Tulsa, the Tulsa area. Paint these pianos, and they're set down at Mayfest. So if you go to Mayfest, look for the Bixby piano. And it's the theme is superheroes, so it's going to be pretty cool. I've seen the finished product. She didn't want me to put pictures up of that because it's supposed to be displayed at Mayfest and debuted there. And then of course we had some art students that participated in the green corn poster competition. We have other displays that you can see there. These 2 over here are actually from the Fine Arts Day, which I'll discuss in a minute. Then we have some art that was sent to me from our East intermediate art teacher. All right, and they're doing wonderful stuff. Growing programs. We're actually adding some more sections to art, and Mr. Blake Dean, who is teaching alt ed and a couple of sections of art, is becoming a full-time art teacher, and kind of expanding our 9th grade offerings, which allows Ms. Jankowski at the high school to offer some more advanced courses for our students. So this year we were able to do a few things that we haven't done in the past. This year the administration allowed us to meet and kind of develop a professional development program where we could work together, and even it was very purpose-driven, I guess, for the fine arts. It's not that we're left out of professional development, but sometimes there's things that we could benefit on if we had the time to do that. So this year, in February, for our February development, we went to the Tulsa PAC and the church studios. That was the first 2 things that we did. At the Tulsa PAC, we got a tour of the entire PAC behind stage. We went into the fly loft, we saw the sound booth, everything about it. Then we had time to sit down with their PAC trust head and their education director, and then the people that manage the PAC, and talk to them about what they like about it, what they don't like about the facility, as we are planning one here. Then we were able to go to the church studio, which is, if you're familiar with the artist, the rock artist Leon Russell, one of my favorite, that was his original studio for Shelter Records back in the 70s. Kind of went in disrepair in the 90s for a while, and then it's been purchased and completely remodeled and expanded. They've added a museum to it and state-of-the-art recording studios, and there's all kinds of artists. They're always posting these amazing artists flying into Tulsa to record there right now. So they gave our entire fine arts department, all 30 of us, a tour, a guided tour of the facility. We got to see everything about it. It was wonderful. And so what was really cool is in all aspects of this, it really kind of went up through all the different disciplines. The visual arts teachers got a lot from touring the PAC, because there's awesome art installations throughout the entire PAC, which we got to explore those too. I've been to dozens of symphonies and ballets and operas. I never even noticed or knew to look at all the arts installations at the PAC, so we got to go through that, and there's amazing art there. Same thing at the church studios. A lot of the things you see, if you look at the very top of that little dome, that's actually these hanging structures that forms a picture of that, hanging suspended. And so there's all this amazing art through that too. Of course, it's heavily music driven, and so it's appealing to all of us. So, all right, and then let's see. Skip one again. Then in our February professional development, we got to go to the Philbrook Museum of Art, and we got to get a guided tour of that. In all these cases, we talked to their education directors, so what type of programs they have that we could bring our students to and benefit from. So we got to talk to their education directors, get a guided tour of the Philbrook. I've been to the Philbrook many times. I'm a member, my wife and I are both members there. We like to go there Sunday after church, and it's wonderful to go to the grounds. But going and having a guided tour by the directors was amazing, because I didn't know all the stuff about the arts. It was great. And I hung out with the art teachers, which I found out are the coolest fine arts teachers, because they're not only cooler, but they had more tattoos. And so they were fun to hang out with. And so I kind of let the band guys go, and I was hanging with the art teachers, and it was really neat, because they would get around a painting and they would talk about the techniques, and so it was really wonderful to hear that. Then we went to the Woody Guthrie Center, and were welcomed there, with open arms. They were so welcoming to us. They even have gift bags for us with keychains and stuff, and so it was an amazing experience. And we got to go through that whole thing with their education director. And I've even taken some students down there. We've even had some of the elementary music teachers have taken students down there as well. But we also have the brand new Bob Dylan Center in Tulsa, and that's actually a picture of some of the fine arts teachers right there. And they had welcome Bixby Fine Arts on the board for us to see when we got there. And so that was great. It's a very interactive museum. Really goes through all the complete catalog of Bob Dylan's music output, and then a lot of the history of the times in which he was writing. So it's wonderful to get to know and collaborate and just fellowship with all the fine arts teachers. There was most of the fine arts teachers in the district I actually didn't know before this year. You're not really gonna talk to the art teacher at East Elementary unless there's a reason to. And actually we hit it off and we're pals now. And that's been the case all across the board. So it's been a great thing. And that leads me to this wonderful collaboration that we just had, which was the first annual Fine Arts Week. I know we were talking about doing something like this before COVID. Then COVID happened. So we were able to finally do something like this this year, and it was a huge success. We had bands, choirs, elementary groups performing all day from 11 to 6 p.m. or so 7 p.m. at night at the Charlie Young stage. And we had in the Crossroads Fellowship right across the street. They allowed us to use their big fellowship hall, and we had a full district art show. So every art teacher had displays there, and we were able to purchase all these display platforms and tables with these awesome tablecloths with bond money. So every teacher in the district has a beautiful art display that they can put their kids' art on, and that's how we utilize them there. And they were able to take those back to their buildings, and so they can put them in the foyers and in their buildings and stuff It was wonderful. We probably had 1,500 to 2,000 people throughout the day, because it was pretty full all day, and it was an ebb and flow of people. And what was really, and I was so happy to see this, is in the art show, there was probably 30 people at any time. Anytime I went in there was 30 people going through there. It was really cool, because there's a lot of cross-pollination. You had band parents said, you know, let's go get some air and walk through the art show. You had choir parents doing the same thing. You have art parents coming over to watch the music, so it was really great, cross-pollination of the arts there. Anyway, we were so happy and proud of that day. We also had, up at the very top, you can see a picture of some of our drama students that are in the stage production class, and they displayed, we had several display, basically their designs of a musical, and they even had the actual costumes that they designed for it that they had made, so they were wearing those. And as they came in, they described the musical and their stage design and the costume design. It was really cool, very neat. Then this year we brought in several master classes and seminars and clinics, and this was really one of the major agendas we wanted to push for, was bringing in more professionals and college professors to speak with our students. So we had an array of representation from not only universities in the state, but also outside of the state. They came and spoke with our students and presented master classes and clinics. And so that's some of the stuff going on with the fine arts. So thank you again for your support of the fine arts and of what we do, and we appreciate you so much. And thanks for giving me the time to show this off.
Parker, and I just want to brag a little bit on just the work that you've done. That most recent example of the Fine Arts Fair downtown. I had the opportunity to come for about an hour and a half or so. It was warm outside, but it's better than being rainy or windy or anything else. But the amount of planning that had to go into that, with all of the different groups and the materials and equipment they had to bring, took a lot of work, and I recognize that. But it was a huge success. That green area was filled most of the day for the various performances. You've just done a great job growing into this role as the Fine Arts Director of Bixby Schools. You obviously already had a full plate managing the band. But
I'm hungry.
That's one way to do it. And just building that team again. So fine arts is not just the high school fine arts and Megan. It's a family of professionals that are all focused on exposing students to the great things with fine arts programming. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much.
They also raised over $500 for the Bixby Outreach Center too.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Thank you for that. That was unexpected.
And $1,000 for Make-A-Wish.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty awesome. My second grader had her art picture displayed.
Oh,
so
great.
she thought she was big. I think she thinks she can sell art now.
That's right.
That's right. What do you pay?
All right. 2.3 Superintendent Report, Rob Miller.
All right, just a couple items here. The first one is state budget negotiations, and I know many of you keep track of that. I don't know if you had a chance to hear Senator Treat had a press conference this afternoon. Said that there was quite a bit of confidence around the plan that had been developed late yesterday evening between the main budget negotiators, but apparently that plan was rejected at the House level today, so they're kind of back to square one. He said they were farther ahead yesterday than they are today. But this is some of the information, kind of shows where they are in terms of that overall budget negotiation. And I'm not going to go into detail here because this plan may be dead. But if you recall, the House and Senate had pretty different plans in terms of how that money was going to be distributed. The House had the $300 million that was going to be capped at $2 million. We were going to be one of those districts that had smaller teacher pay raises. So they seem to have coalesced around this idea of slightly higher teacher pay raises. So you see the one line item there, $286 million for pay raises ranging from $3,000 to $6,000, which is better. The original, well, the most recent House or Senate plan before that was 4 to 8. That turned out to be a little too expensive, so they bumped it down to 3 to 6. Then they were gonna put another 214 million into the funding formula, and that seems to be the real area of debate, is how that money's gonna be distributed. There are a lot of House members who are really concerned about rural districts and losing the rural legislators' votes on the tax credits, because this was part of that deal. We'll get you more money if you approve these tax credits, because the tax credits really aren't gonna impact you very much, because in rural schools, there aren't private school options. So this is how they've tried to do that. Transportation weights, you can see up there, and I had Mike just kind of run some numbers. If that were to go through, it's about $120,000 difference for Bixby Public Schools. Not huge, but that would be something that rural schools would benefit from, because they have longer routes, and so they would have a little bit more money from that. They also are talking about changing the small school weight. There is a weight, if you are in one of those smaller schools. It used to be any district with fewer than 529. The latest proposal said any district smaller than 750 would qualify for those small school weights. I don't know exactly how much that would be as part of this funding, but that's was the plan. And then the economically disadvantaged was one of the recommendations from the funding task force 2 years ago, increasing that from 0.25 to 0.30, and running those numbers through our formula, we get about 400,000 from that. The question is how much money of that 214 million is for those extra weights, and how much is just new money that could be distributed based on the other weights. We don't know, and they didn't really go into that detail. And then raising the Red Bud Fund, which again, we don't get. It's for those schools that have less at the one, to help them with capital improvements and things like that. Of course, the private school tax credits are still there at $150 million. So I don't know what they're gonna do now. I think the House went home. And so there is, with each passing day, we get closer and closer to that idea that it's a special session, that they will end the regular session without a budget deal for Common Ed, which would be very frustrating, that they couldn't reach. We've had months to talk about this and work this out. They actually brought in a Supreme Court justice from the Supreme Court to try and mediate. They're at that level where they have to bring in somebody to get them to work. So we will see. I hope that they reach an agreement in the next couple days so that we can plan around that. Mike needs to kind of have those plans for his budgeting for next year. And if they push it into June, then it gets worrisome, because what if they don't reach an agreement then?
I got my dartboard out.
So that's where we are. A little bit just on our district enrollment. Right now we're at 7897. I put the second bullet there so you can see what that's going to do over the next few years. So this year we're going to graduate around 489 seniors. Next year 516. The year after 535 and 563. And it won't be long, 2027, we're at 630. That 8th grade class coming up. So that's pretty significant in just a short number of years. When we sat down as our district strategy team, we're looking at anticipated growth of 7%. We figure that's kind of in the ballpark. We hope that it's 7% or maybe a little less, just to be able to manage. That would bring our enrollment to about 8450 next year from where we are today with a 7% growth. Our target class sizes I shared with the board last month that we are shooting for, and we've developed a staffing plan for K through 3 to get us to about 22 on average, 4 through 6 about 24, 25, and secondary from that 25 to 28. And if we get the money and those projections for growth are close, then we'll be in that ballpark. And again, that's a district average. It doesn't mean that you won't have a site that has 25 in a 3rd grade class, because that can fluctuate based on the size of the individual class. But we really tried to analyze that the best that we could. And I've mentioned this, yes ma'am?
On the class sizes, so when you say like pre-K 20 and kindergarten through 3rd 22, That's not averaging in like a school counselor or a librarian, that's the actual
Well, that's
classroom.
actual class size.
Class size.
Okay.
Class size
Kids in
average.
class.
Thank you.
When we have a student move in, is, I guess, the way they're placed in the class, maybe like K through 3, do they just solely look at just like numbers and say, okay, this one only has X amount, we'll put them in there, or
It's
is there
gonna
actual
depend on
process?
so many factors, like the time of year, how much they know about the student, there are a lot of factors. If they know enough that they can weigh other things, other needs, and fit the child to the right placement, they'll do that. But the bottom line is, you've gotta start going by numbers at some point.
Yeah.
And so you can't put all the kids in one class just because their needs would indicate that'd be the best fit for them. So yeah, it does become a numbers game at some point, so that you have a balanced class average across the grade.
And we experience that quite a bit, don't we?
Yes,
I mean,
yes, we
I
do.
just think my 3rd grade case classes had like 4 people move in this year. You know, it's quite a bit, so.
And it's unusual, because most districts don't see that kind of growth during the year, people don't move, but got a lot of homes being built, and families are moving in. I've mentioned this to the board before, I would recommend, and we'll talk about it in the fall, of hiring our demographic study again. It's been 5 years since the previous one, so a lot of that data needs to be updated as we look forward in trying to figure out if there's a need for redistricting, north of the river in particular. East seems to be growing a little bit more than north, but that new data may show that that's not the case, and so we'll have to wait and see what that shows, and then we'll pull together a district committee.
Is there any more talks on a regular basis with Jared Cottle about kind of the city side of it with growth and residential growth, or are they kind of keeping us
They are.
in the loop?
Yeah.
Really, really good, just about, hey, anticipate this many neighborhoods coming, or.
Lydia and I are both a member of the technical advisory committee for Bixby that meets every month, so we see all those plats as they're being developed. And most of them are projected a couple years in advance when they first purchase the land, and they do their initial planning and number of homes and that sort of thing. So we have a pretty good idea. Not a lot on the north side. It is inside, certainly that area between Memorial and Yale, and on the 51st, or actually all the way to Harvard, that area is starting to get platted, so we're seeing a lot of that.
Do they do anything to stifle growth, or is it just kind of like, yep, come on?
I think they're aware of it, but as
I mean,
said
it's
before,
a catch-22, I know that communities wanna grow.
well, and part of it is that, Jenks, Broken Arrow, and Tulsa all are building homes for families who go to Bixby schools. And so Jenks doesn't care. And they build homes in Jenks whose students are going to Bixby. That's just the reality. Broken Arrow, which feeds some of our kids in the east, kind of that same boat. So that's why doing the demographic study is really important, just to kind of see, because they work with the city, they'll get their studies and really be able to project out 3 to 5 years where that development's gonna go.
You guys need to get on the Jeans and Broken Arrow committees as well. How much time do you have?
Hopefully, but, just a little bit on staffing updates, as I said, we're adding 44, 45 new positions, and so that top number 84 might be off by just a couple. This is based on kind of the data we pulled together today. That's how many we went into summer. That's, new positions and positions through attrition, retirements like Sue, and some others like that. Positions filled as of today, about 60. So we're about 3/4 of the way towards fully staffing certified, which is a good number if we're able to find the ones. Positions needed, you can see up there we're still short 6 elementary across the district, 6 intermediate, middle schools, 5 teachers plus a media specialist, 9th grade center. Get interviews for principal next week, and we're still trying to finalize with their teacher data, because we've added some positions there. And then high school, we've done pretty well in getting those positions. So we're doing well, and I'll give you another update in June just to let you know questions on that? And just upcoming events. Baseball, state, I don't know if we started yet.
Wausau just ended, they won.
Good, we get to beat them in the next one. We like to beat a Wausau. So, state track meet, we had our students, I think we have 14 qualified for state. It's all the way at UConn there, so they're on their way there, or they're for tomorrow. Bixby High School senior events, I think these are already on your calendar, but senior walkthrough went very well last Friday. Very heartwarming to see those kids, see their teachers and things. This Sunday, we've got baccalaureate at New Beginnings Church at 2, and then the senior car parade at 4. Senior breakfast is on the 17th, and I think if you have an RSVP'd or if you're able to come, we've got a seat for you if you're able to come. And then commencement that evening. Last day of school, pretty quickly. Next board meeting, and the last 3 are just some things to put on your calendar. First day of school, Thursday, August 17th. The OSSBA conference is that Friday and Saturday. It's always in that awkward time, last week of August, when nothing's going on. Battle of the Burbs is that Thursday night, so that we'll be back here for that. Friday, Saturday, and then the State of the Schools event, we have been able to persuade the city to move that to a little later. In past years, we've done that in July, which is not a great time for it, so we're gonna do it after school starts in September.
You know when the back to school teacher rally will be?
It's gonna be September
first.
September 1st. So again, we're not gonna put that before school this year, we're gonna, because we've only got 3 days built in, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We want to give as much of that time to the sites to do their own professional development and for teachers to teach in the classroom. Questions on any of that? All right, that's all for me.
Alright. 2.4, facilities and operations report. Gabe?
That was Gabe. Oh, you need this?
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
Did you want the video first, or?
Yeah. Well, I didn't take it, but yes. This is the drone footage from, I think, April 3rd. It shows them forming up for the second level pour. So it's a little dated, but it kind of gives you a size and a scope of where we're at on the building right now. That thing is going to be a monster. It's absolutely huge. So you can see they got the forming up for the second level and rebar, and the amount of work is just amazing that they do to get that form ready for the pour. They've been working on columns on the upper level, second level as right now, and it's a little longer than I expected it to be. Wasn't planning on talking over all this.
You want me to fast forward the video?
It's a little too much talking for me.
These are those words.
Here you go, girl.
I'm done now.
I'll help you, I'll help you. There you go.
I'll see y'all next month.
I think I just gave free to do the videos.
That's the last one of those I did. Okay, so let's see. Now this one is not there. Okay.
There you
There it is. Okay, that's more up to date. This is actually from the lower level, looking up a little bit at what they have poured, what they were forming up for in that video. Here's the upper level as of right now. You can see the columns are taking shape. Let's see. I don't remember if I showed you this last time. This is the damage to the bridge, but we got that repaired now. So golf carts can race back across it again. They can start those races back up. This is west. I can't remember if this is elementary or intermediate side, but you can see the millwork being done. Ceiling tiles are in, so that project's really progressing and ahead of schedule. They're hanging the sign here on West Elementary from its original location. Here's some of the bathroom work in those buildings. And there you can see again the sign complete with the west. You can kind of see intermediate back there with the boom lift still working on it a little bit. see, that's not too exciting, but that's the door going into the girls' wrestling area that used to take water in every time it rained. So we actually had them cut that out, raise it up 4 inches, and then slope the concrete away. So hopefully, as we get those new pads in for them, we won't get water running in underneath it every time it rains. So.
It's a little thing.
Yeah, just a little bit. So, that's it for my pictures. I'm gonna hand that off. Right now, we've got a lot of projects ready to go. As soon as school's out, we're gonna start some painting on some exterior buildings, practice gym, what is or was the multi-purpose building. I don't know what we're gonna call that in the future. And then also the soccer building. Our goal is to paint that to kind of match the new track building and make that look like one cohesive location. We're also going to be prepping our sites for new furniture at North. Start removing some of the old furniture, getting that ready for when that new furniture comes in. North Intermediate, North Elementary. North Elementary has some extensive projects that we're trying to get lined out with the HVAC and moisture mitigation. It's involves pulling up all the flooring, putting a water barrier down over those sections that didn't have vapor barrier when the building was built. So we have water that just wicks into the building all the time. So you'll see something on the agenda items as far as getting that project done. And the timelines on that's a little tricky. We're trying to work that out. So, but we should be able to make some good progress on that. East Intermediate East Elementary second floor, we've got some tiling to do that we've already pulled up because it was coming loose. East Intermediate, they're gonna be prepping, we'll be painting that this June. You'll see that come across the next board meeting for a bid on that. So things are starting to progress. Also, we're going to redo some of the stucco work and on CI and CE. Get that all repaired, get it looking better, get it all one color, which it's not right now, so it should improve the looks of that building and make them a little more waterproof as well. And probably a whole lot of other stuff I'm forgetting to talk about right now, but that's
We're working on flower beds today.
We're working on flower beds, yeah, pulling dead plants, putting new ones in. Hopefully they'll take before the heat hits and kills them all again. That's our goal.
Dave, any questions?
Thank you for all you do.
All right, moving on, 2.5, financial operations report. Mark Anthony.
All right.
Zoom that a little bit now.
Standing up, just
Yeah.
What happens when you have a budget?
I don't know how to get rid of
That we got
this.
some. Never mind, we got.
I made it a little bigger. I might have to shrink it for you. There you go.
Okay, since Mr. Miller brought up, our student growth, I will pick something, and you talked about people moving in mid-year, something intriguing that we've talked about before that's going on when you look at our ad valorem collections right now. We're sitting at an 18% collection above prior year. That's never happened for us. So either we're gonna have a dramatic fall in June and get back to our 5 to 8%, or we're gonna stay at this level, possibly, or somewhere near it. And that could be the equivalent of another $1 million in funds this year that we weren't anticipating. And you know, I've talked to Jordan about this, or Jordan Smith, and we've not seen this before. So this is, you think about all that development that's going on in between 121st and 131st, right there in the center. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the assessors had that, or you know, maybe they're paying now. So maybe there's so much going on in there that they picked up. So we've had some dramatic increases here that, you know, hopefully, I hope that we get that money. So, but we'll see. I mean, we could have a dramatic fall off next month. So.
It could be the real taco, right?
Yeah.
Could be. I mean, they get my money at least twice a week.
They've improved a lot, haven't they, with that bill?
Me too.
So, anyway, I find that interesting compared to, you know, you see our growth numbers in students. They keep coming mid-year all the time. So we've seen a lot of that. So you can see that right now we're sitting you know, based on what we projected at 98%. Now, this time last year, we were in the same place, so, you know, but it levels off in that June month, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll get that increase. We did surpass what we budgeted on County 4 mill, which is, I raised that another 200,000. I'm not sure where that's gonna fall, but I put us roughly at the same percentage of collections where we were at this time last year. So, and that's usually kind of a barometer of where we're going. Another thing I want, as far as the general fund goes, we've made some adjustments on expenditures where they, some things that were added in that we weren't anticipating. We're still above, at my projection right now, above what we started the end of the year on the fund balance, but below the 10%. But we did increase some, or will increase some payroll in regard to some burdens we're gonna pick up for the summer camps. That won't be dramatic, but it will impact us some. Building fund is, you know, moving along. We've encumbered some things there. As we get into discussions on Mr. Miller's gonna talk to you about the admin building. There's some things we might wanna look at doing different in regard to the construction with the maintenance building that we talked about doing the building fund out of. So we might wanna change that. He and I are still talking about that and trying to figure that line out. Child nutrition, right here is our bottom line number at this moment, 2.2 million. It's a very good number. I was not expecting that this year. So that means that the projected 1.3 that we're going to try to pay general fund is more than likely gonna happen. So we'll match that, maybe even surpass it a little bit, so. And that's really all I have on the financial part. I did wanna update you on our lease money. Right now, we have received our total allotment of funds in the lease. We have spent, or we have sent to payment 21 million. We have encumbered our total project cost right now, 73 million of that 101 million of the lease. So we have right now a net available, I need to increase that, don't I? There we go. I didn't give y'all a copy of that, so I apologize. We're right about 29 million. We have earned $900,000 in interest this year, almost $1 million in interest on our lease. So that's kind of, you know, residual money for some, you know, a little bit of cost overruns. Maybe it'll help pay for some of the furniture and maybe a couple other things, side projects we'd like to do. So, but that's where we are on the lease funds right now. So we have $29 million left unencumbered of that to work with for the final high school bids, possibility of the gyms and the locker rooms. So those are the four. Am I missing anything there?
Stuff like the canopies and things like that, but those are small.
Okay. Last year's bond sale, bond 31, we are just about done with that. That's where we are and what's left. I think, Sherry, did you finish encumbering that today? So
I will tomorrow.
okay, so we'll have that spent and taken care of. In this, was one of the major projects, the soccer turf. That was the dirt work right there that was in this bond. Bond 35 was last year's sale. Bond 31 was the prior year before that. Bond 35 was last year's sale, and we are sitting right now where we have about 4.4 million left, 157,000 in annual program money. Ignore this negative, that's just temporary. Once we get this bond money from the current year, that'll go away because I'll make some adjustments on where I'm gonna take money out of, or take projects out of. But we have 4.1 left of what I call the set aside. That's part of the lease and bond money for all these major projects. So in addition to the lease money, we've got 4.1 left for the major building projects. So that we went to the patrons for to vote on. So, and have all the list of all the items that, where we have money and where it's going, so, you know, it's on there, so you can look at it, and people have questions for you and wanna know where we're spending our money, you know, you'll have at least access to that, and of course, I can always answer any question you ever have about that if you want, or need me to. So, that's where we stand right now for project money as well. So, do you have any questions? I'll be glad to answer them if I can.
Scoreboard paid off, done?
Did you make that payment yet?
No, it will be this month.
This month,
Yeah,
okay.
this month.
I
That's-
sit on it for a little.
But you're gonna find out, we're gonna replace that, not the scoreboard, we'll replace that money with something else. We'll be using that money for something else here shortly, so Mr. Miller will talk to you about that later, so. Nothing that will surprise you though. But yes, it will be done.
Awesome.
We will officially own it.
All right,
Thank you.
okay, moving on. 3, comments from the public?
None.
All right, no comments. Number 4.
From our public back there.
Yeah.
Sure that-
Number 4, I make a motion for discussion and possible board action to approve consent items 1 through 23. These items may be approved by one board motion unless any board member desires to have separate vote on any and all items. I make a motion that we approve 4.1 through 4.23.
Second.
Give the board just a second to look through the attachments and some of the things that are associated there with employment. The support rehires and the head coaches list, which are appendix A and B, we will talk about those in the executive session. Happy to answer any questions. Question or pretty standard repeat items.
Mouse isn't working anymore.
It's a technical difficulties kind of night, I
It
think.
really is.
Can you use your trackpad, or do you need me to get you another mouse?
No, I'm fine.
I probably have one you can plug in if you need.
We got batteries upstairs.
Triple in.
Can you run up
We
to
have
Sherry's
triple
drawer?
upstairs.
How many you need?
2.
Any questions? Call for a vote. Matt?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Finance, number 5.1, I make a motion for discussion and possible board action regarding the purchase of 4 used school buses from American Bus Sales for a total of $392,620. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I know this one kind of gets your attention because it's 4 used school buses. We normally purchase new school buses. So Gabe, if you wouldn't mind sharing some more words on this one?
For the video?
Yes, they are used, slightly used, you know, just within a couple of years, 3 years old. The situation is that we're in desperate need of buses on the lot right now. And with the, out having activity buses available to purchase, we wanted to go ahead and use some funds, buy these used buses and bolster what we have on the lot. We have 21 buses that are over 10 years old on the lot, out of around 50, and 12 of those are over 15 years old. So our fleet is very old. The demand's growing. There are days that we don't have a bus left on the lot. We have spring sports going everywhere and things like that. So we desperately need buses on the ground. This would allow us to catch up a little bit with what we already have ordered. Then we should get back to school next year. We'll have these, and that'll kind of give us a little bit of breathing room. And then when those activity buses come back, then we'll still have the recurring bond money to purchase those from that. But this will just give us a little bump up, a little head start, and kind of modernize our fleet a little more, which it desperately needs.
So the question I asked you, Gabe, too, is you know, buses that have 25, 30,000 miles, where were they in service before?
Right, these would be lease buses, and when it's a lease bus, then, you know, the schools aren't even doing the maintenance, but they send it back to the supplier that does maintenance, so they make sure all those maintenances are done correctly, oil changes and all those things that keep the vehicle in good working order.
And the cost of a brand new route bus?
Cost of a brand new, depending on the type, the Bluebird FE, you're probably looking at $120,000.
If you can get one.
If you can get one, and it could be 190 to 300 days, depending on where the manufacturing is.
Do buses come with a warranty, like a car?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
And we would get that for drivetrain, engine, you know, all those things.
So it's a little unusual, but as Gabe said, we need the buses now. We don't really have 6 months to wait. As we add these students, we're gonna need to add routes, we're gonna need to add drivers, which is another challenge. But, we need to at least have buses to put drivers in.
The downside to having, you know, successful athletics is we have more students in it, so every trip we send more buses out. Not to mention just the students we're trying to get back and forth to school.
Thank you, Gabe.
Any other questions? All right, call for a vote, Matt?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. 6, teaching and learning. Make a motion that we approve 6.1, discussion and possible board action regarding the JA Biztown contract for junior achievement for North Intermediate for the 2023-2024 fiscal year.
Second.
So we have done BizTown before, our intermediate schools. It was kind of suspended a few years ago. It's really challenging to even get on the schedule because it fills up so quickly. North Intermediate was able to schedule some dates. They will be funding this themselves out of Bridge the Gap money that was awarded to their site. Mr. Cheatham asked about the other intermediate sites, and so we'll bring it up with them because we do like to see programs that are consistent across the board so that one school's doing something different, but this is Bridge the Gap money, so it's a little bit different, but if they can afford to do it and, you know, and can get on the calendar, we'd love to see all of our intermediate students have the opportunities. If you've ever been to BizTown, it's
Great.
We're down right now.
Our internet went down.
Oh, dang it.
Yes.
What went down?
Internet.
Oh, the internet. Is that what my phone's blowing up?
It's like, turning the bell off.
All right, well, we're moving on.
Who seconded that?
All right. Yeah, say this. All right.
All right, let's call for a vote. Matt?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We already went over 7.1 and 7.2 under operations. We're gonna jump to 7.3. I make a motion for the discussion of possible board action regarding IAI master agreement with Derby Architectures Incorporated for architectural services related to the design and construction of the East Intermediate Gymnasium. Well, we have no internet, so.
Do you have a hard copy in that folder they can look at?
So with each of our architects, when we enter in an agreement for them to do design services, there's a standard AIA contract. And this is almost exactly the same as we've done with KKT or GH2 or any of the others. We have contracted with Dewberry to do the 2 athletic gyms, the first of those being East Intermediate. We prioritized East Intermediate because of the need of having that extra space at that school. The 9th grade gym is also, we've got a contract for that one, but we are waiting to see where this next set of bids on the high school is going to be to determine whether or not we can move forward on that 9th grade gym.
I came back.
Mine hadn't had a chance.
Oh, there it is, yeah,
That's
yeah.
not good.
So, you go to appendix D, just the very bottom.
The bottom page?
Yeah, the last page. Spin that around. There we go. So that's a breakdown of the total fees associated with this contract, $174,000, based on an estimated cost right now of about $2.2 million for that project. Which is in line with what architects are charging for fees on that sort of a project. We hope, upon approval of this contract, that then we will select a CM to manage that project, and we'll begin getting final drawings done, go out to bid, hopefully by later summer, and start breaking ground August, September, with the intent of having that ready for the 24 school year, August of 24.
Would that be, is it gonna be built out? I'm trying to picture, where will it be built on the ground?
It will be, on the west end, where that parking lot is
Oh, yeah.
and that lot.
Yep.
So that's where it was, projected when we finished the intermediate. We left them there for that reason.
So parking is going to be an issue. Getting vehicles around there while it's under construction is gonna be kind of an issue. We're gonna have to eventually look, I think, at the lot, the grassy lot to the west, to see if there's anything we can do to add parking in that space. But as you know, there's a big ditch in the middle of that, or a big retention area. But it's just tight. But it was part of the original plan, I know, for East Intermediate, but it was one of those things that got cut because of money.
Is there, just a, you know, to make a plug for the new 9th grade gym? I know we talked about seating.
Yeah.
But just with it being affiliated with, you know, high school, you know, just like having a new place to host 9th grade and JV games, maybe in there instead of like, you know, the practice gym or something, but anyways, I just wanna put that little.
I know.
Well, we want it too, really
Yeah.
bad.
I even asked about, maybe we can look at building it big enough to come back to add bleachers later instead of putting the, where there's nothing you can do in the future. But
Yeah.
We're just gonna have to see where the money lands.
Yeah.
With this next set of bids, as Mike shared with you a little bit ago, we get 29 million left in that lease. And this next set of bids will come out of that. West is paid for. Then we have some of these other projects like the locker room addition on Home of the Spartans. We're not sure where that is gonna come out yet.
It's coming a lot higher than we thought, well, originally.
Yeah, originally we were thinking 4 or 5 million, that was,
But they're in such
yeah.
dire need.
Yeah.
Do you know if these will be wood floor gyms or will they be rubber floor gyms or?
The one at East Intermediate will be similar to what you see at West.
Okay.
That same kind of floor,
Yeah,
not a wood floor.
yeah,
But the 9th grade ideally would be a wood floor
yeah.
and have some bleachers, but again, just a matter of how much money. And that's, you know, as we kind of finalize some of these estimates on these other projects, I know I've mentioned possibility of running a smaller bond issue next year to kind of cover some of those unanticipated overruns on these projects. And it's not that we're being extravagant, adding things to it, it's simply the cost of materials and labor has gone up 20 to 25% in the last 2 years since we did those initial estimates. And it's just, every district that's building is experiencing the same things.
Well, there's the potential, I mean, that's a nice piece of land there for the 9th grade gym, so you could possibly make it bigger and put something else in there, another, you know, program to house in there, you know. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, on the 9th grade center, I'd almost be inclined to look at options to even live a little bit if we had to, just to get the bleachers. My fear with how fast we're growing, 10, 12 years down the road, somebody's gonna think, well, why in the world was there not bleachers built in this gym?
I know.
I agree.
So, that's where we are. So this is just a contract to get started on East Intermediate.
All right, any other questions? 7.3, all right, call for a vote, Matt?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. 7.4, I make a motion for discussion and possible board action regarding a construction management service agreement with ES2 Engineered Systems and Engineering Solutions Incorporated for North elementary HVAC project.
Gabe alluded to this in his comments a little bit ago. It's more than just HVAC, it's also looking at the floor and the moisture issues and adding some additional steps to get that so that we can get new flooring put in. A very tight window between the end of school and August trying to get this done, so we wanted to put this in front of you today so that we can get moving and get those plans done. The cost there is $48,962 is the bid price. Any other thing I left out, Dave?
It is gonna be a tricky and complicated project, even though it doesn't sound like it. You know, different trades involved, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, flooring, flooring demo, waterproofing. So getting all these trades together, getting them coordinated for this small window of time, we certainly need that construction management on this job. It's probably gonna be something that ends up getting phased a little bit to meet those time requirements. So it's, and then we're gonna run into those supply issues as well. So it's coordinating those and doing what we can when we can. So it's gonna be a somewhat complicated project.
How did we find ES2?
They've been involved with us for quite some time. We actually are, most of our heat and air systems run off of their controls. So they've been here, they've been consultants for us for years, even before I've been in.
Handle
in
a lot
this
of
position.
repairs too.
They do a lot of our repairs. They're involved with, our control, the new addition to West, some of their controllers will be operating that. So we're trying to move to that, singular control system for all of the district, for our heat and air, and that's the system that we're with.
And the projects we just talked about at North Elementary, those were part of the 22 bond. So the flooring and HVAC was built into that bond package.
So if they're a construction management service, does that take them out of the bids for doing actual work?
On this project, they would be, using subcontractors, yeah. They would bid out to subcontractors for the labor and
The way that works on others, because even on the high school, Nabholz can bid portions of that when they go out. And if they're the lowest responsible bid, we can select them for that work. So they can be both construction manager and provide some of the subcontracting as well.
Any questions? I make a motion, we approve 7.4 to ES2 Engineered Systems and Engineered and Energy Solutions for $48,962.
Second.
Call for a vote, Matt?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. 7.5, I make a motion, we approve 7.5, discussion and possible board action regarding the American Red Cross Training Services Agreement for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's a contract through special ed, I believe, for materials and resources for training of staff through the American Red Cross.
And all our paraprofessionals that are required to get paraprofessional certification, so they have to have the first aid and CPR training.
Do all of our, does all of our teachers do the CPR training too? No, just them.
There are several, we offer it, but they are not all required to do that.
They're not required.
And I don't know frankly how we could possibly train them all.
Oh, we offer it to the teachers though?
On some PE days occasionally, yes.
Free of cost for the teacher? Any questions? All right, call for a vote, Matt?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. 7.6, I make a motion, we approve 7.6 for discussion and possible board action regarding revised Board of Education Policy 2166, concussion policy and management. Second?
Second.
Jamie, I'll let you cover this one.
This is really just a collaboration based on updated protocols given to the athletic department. Kate sat down with the coaches and went through the updated protocols and compared it to our policy. And these are the changes that they recommend based on those updated protocols. There's nothing really out of the ordinary, just clarifying some things, listing some things for parents in case they need to reference it.
Marcel, if you could just kind of
Yeah, there's some
scroll down,
descriptions
so
of
we added a little bit more there,
concussions.
just,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I am,
I'll go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. So, just some descriptions of physical, emotional behavior, and cognitive, so they can refer to that if need be when discussing with parents. The evaluation, didn't really change, but they really clarified that if a student, if you'll keep scrolling down a little, is removed, because of suspected concussion, they'll not be allowed to return to play the same day, and they'll have to go through the protocols to be able to return. And then for the clearance to return, which they added, the athletic trainers will give the final clearance for athletes. And then the last really is that athletes must check in with athletic trainers daily, continue progression. I think we've gotten into that where we've had some clearance and then some kids have regressed. And so that daily check-in I think is important until we make sure that we're really on the road to recovery.
That last sentence in red was one that Mr. Cheetah brought up when we did an agenda review, and he was just talking about athletic trainers will grant final clearance for athletes based on the recommendation of an appropriate medical professional and or satisfactory completion of all return to play protocols. So what we want to make sure is that our athletic trainers are that one who gives that final clearance. Even if they have a doctor's clearance, that athletic trainer knows that child best and can make that assessment. So that trainer's still going to have the authority to say, no, I don't think you're quite ready. What we have found is that there are doctors out there who will give those clearances and really haven't done a full evaluation of that student like our trainers do. And we want to make sure that we're erring on the side of safety and we're not putting a student back on the field who is not ready yet. So that's why we've added that.
Do we have anything that, have we ever considered, if an athlete gets a concussion from their sport, in their game or whatever, about, like, if they can't go to school the next day, they could have an excused absence, or have we ever considered that? I mean,
Should have a doctor's note would excuse it though, right?
I mean, I'm saying, if they haven't gone to the doctor, say they play Monday night JV, kid gets hit hard, you know, it's Tuesday morning, and I mean, it's 8 o'clock Monday night. If the trainer says he has a concussion and he misses school Tuesday.
Yeah, we absolutely do that.
Okay.
Because they would be in communication, sending to the doctor, we'd be in communication with the attendance office, so that shouldn't be an issue.
Okay. I just know when those kids are absent, you know, I mean,
We've
it's
had some
rare
long-term,
in high school to get caught up. And these things can last a week or 2 weeks, you know, or longer.
we've had some long-term issues before.
And one of the questions I had with Ralph, just so the board knows, I just wanted to make sure, because athletic trainers have a medical director that oversees their protocols, and I wanted to make sure our medical director of the athletic trainer was okay with this. That way we don't have an athletic trainer saying somebody's clear to come back and the medical director doesn't give them authority to do that, and then the school gets caught in it. So I just wanna make sure we have clear communication there, and I believe Rob corrected me that.
Right, and so I think it's more that the trainers are probably gonna err more on the side of caution than some of the medical directors. Because they know the kids well, they work with them every single day. And they know when a kid's just not cognitively there and make that decision, so. Any other questions?
All right, call for a vote, Matt?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Tristy?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Oh, Julie?
Aye.
Skip Julie, Tristy?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It's getting late in the agenda. All right, 7.7. Discussion and possible board action regarding declaring items as surplus to be disposed of in accordance of Oklahoma statute. I make a motion, we approve 7.7.
Second.
Books.
I did.
Right.
Other than your one.
What are we doing?
That was CD surplus.
Okay. Anybody see anything you want to ask about? Call for a vote. Matt?
Aye.
Amanda? Julie?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Number 8, miscellaneous. 8.1, discussion and possible action to approve an agreement with the Cooperative Council for Oklahoma School Administration, COSA, to participate in the COSA District Level Service Program for the 2023-2024 fiscal year at a cost of $2,500. I make a motion, we approve 8.1.
Second.
This could have actually been on consent agenda, but we went ahead and put it here. This is just an annual contract that we have with COSA. It was $2,500 last year, it's $2,500. And that's for some of the training and, there's the membership trainings that we have access to, the budget boot camp, some of the special ed classes, those sorts of things. So, pretty reasonable price for what they will provide.
Any questions? Call for a vote. Matt?
Aye.
Amanda? Aye. Julie?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. 8.1, discussion and possible action to approve an agreement with Cooperative Council for,
That's what we just did.
8.2, discussion and possible board action to appoint a member of the Bixby Public Schools Board of Education to the OSSBA Legislative Liaison for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. I make a motion that we nominate and approve Christie Fryer.
Second.
Any discussion? All right.
You've done such a nice job.
You were really good.
Call for a vote. Matt?
Aye.
Amanda? Julie?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Chair votes aye. 8.3, discussion and possible board action regarding a new activity fund account for the middle school FCCLA. I make a motion, we approve 8.3.
Second.
We're adding programming at the middle school, and so this will allow them to do fundraising and put money aside for their program.
Questions? All right, call for a vote. Matt?
Aye.
Amanda? Julie?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. 9, executive session. You wanna read 9.1, discussion and possible vote to move to executive session to discuss the possible purchase of certain real property, 25 OS section 307B, the employment of support personnel and head athletic coaches subject to assignment by the superintendent for the 2023-2024 fiscal year per attachment A and B respectively. I make a motion, we approve 9.1.
Second.
Call for vote. Matt?
Aye.
Amanda? Julie?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.